beautiful people? Thank you guys so much for tuning into my channel. I am Darla, and you are tuned into The 30 Journey. Here, I share my life lessons, experiences, and journey through my 30s with you. And if any of that sounds interesting, you should subscribe. Join the TTJRNY tribe and follow me on Instagram. All right, y'all. Let's talk. So beautiful people, we're talking about your 20s versus your 30s, which decade is better, just my insight and opinions on both of these decades of life. And now I am in my mid 30s, so I can definitely give you guys a good bit of indication of what happens or what has been happening on my personal 30 journey. Of course, I have videos all over my channel, but I do want to kind of stress what I think some of the big differences are within both of these decades of life and what it has been for me, and kind of give you guys some insight if you are in either one of these categories on what to look forward to and what you may resonate with and have experienced. So if you are interested, please keep on watching. In my 20s, I would say it really was more of like self-discovery for me. Granted, you know, I express to you guys all the time how it was a lot of relationships for me. It was a lot of me emerging into the woman that I wanted to be and just kind of walking this out and trying to figure out, you know, where am I going? Like, what am I trying to accomplish here? And also having some fun in the meantime. I started to hone in on my worth as well as a woman and, you know, like, again, who I really wanted to be. I started discovering a lot of different things because as I was getting out of my teenage years, I was really allowing myself to look up to the women that I wanted to be most like. That's why I believe my teenage years were a little bit harder, because I didn't have my mother and my grandmother there in front of me to kind of model the woman that the woman that I was becoming and wanted to be. Granted, I had, you know, a few family members that definitely, you know, played their part, but it's nothing like having, you know, your mother and your grandmother, especially when they exude the beauty, the essence, the radiance, and who it is that you really want to be as a woman. That was a little hard for me, and I was really in my 20s discovering that woman because I knew I was business minded. I knew that I had this essence within myself of like dressing up and doing all these things, but in my teenage years, like that wasn't really me. I was still like finding out who I really wanted to be. So when I went through like this phase of just, I don't want to say like glowing up, but it was really like playing around with a lot of different styles, a lot of different, you know, things that made me or felt real to me. I still had insecurities within myself. Like there were a lot of things about myself that I really did not love, but I was still learning to cope and deal with in the best way that I knew how. And that was a part of my self-discovery and the whole process of learning my worth as well. That was a big, big step along my journey because I realized how, you know, people were starting to perceive me. I realized how I was starting to be treated regarding men, regarding people, just in day to day. I was realizing a lot of different things. And I believe a lot of that happened because of me taking a hold of my journey and saying, no, I want to be this woman that shows up in a room with her confidence and, you know, her heels and, you know, her hair done, makeup done, whatever the case is, right? And that's who I wanted to be. And that's what I saw growing up as well. My mother was that type of woman. She was very beautiful. She took pride in her appearance. And my grandmother was the exact same way. Mind you, I'm saying grandmother, y'all. Like my grandmother wasn't the type of woman that's walking around the house in muumuus and slippers all day. That wasn't her. Like she used to get up, get dressed, and show up for herself. And that's exactly who I wanted to be, and that's who I became. Again, I didn't have that real guidance in my teens. Granted, of course, I had people around me that were doing this, but they weren't exuding, like I said, the women or the woman that I knew I wanted to be and who I was becoming. So that part of my life was a lot of self-discovery and a lot of learning, you know, again, who I really wanted to be and how I wanted to show up in this world. And I think that's the difference of what I will say as far as the self-discovery process and just laying down concrete foundational values, morals, and just a lot of different things for your life that you want to have a solid foundation and grounding in. And one of those things, of course, is spirituality, which came in my 30s as well. Spirituality in my 20s kind of looked like me just knowing that God was the homie. And I always acknowledged my higher being and my higher power in a lot of things that I did. It just wasn't one of those things where I really took the time to really set something really foundational. My 20s allowed me to know that, God existed in my life, but my 30s really showed me that it was true relationship. And that's the beauty in just allowing yourself to grow. And there was foundation already there. But my 30s, when it came to spirituality, I talk about this in a few videos where I was not opposed to just coming out of this saying that I was going to be agnostic. I was going to maybe be an atheist, because I was allowing myself to go in a direction that was very, very pure in understanding who God was for me. Not just what I had been taught, not just what I had heard, but what I really truly believed was right for me. And that didn't come until my 30s. And that was mainly because of a situation that I was going through, emotionally, physically, mentally, and just regarding health in general. And sometimes there are moments in your life that do that. And I allowed that moment and that time in my life to do that. I'm so happy that I did, because it just put me on a path to really be more structured and grounded in what I truly believed, and also how I was going to live that out every day. And then, of course, of that came purpose, came this platform, came what's to come from this platform. Like, it's just so many beautiful things that God has shown me within just trusting and believing, on my spiritual journey, that just makes for a beautiful, beautiful life. Like, I think about all of the experiences that I've had so far in my 30s regarding spirituality, and I'm just so grateful, y'all. Like, so many supernatural things. I can't even express to y'all how many moments, beautiful, amazing moments, just in my 30s so far. It's just, man, it's such a blessing. It is such a blessing. I just want you guys to just look forward, if you are on that journey of discovery, just knowing that your life can truly be a true, beautiful one. I started my 30s, y'all, in a depressive, anxious state. Like, that's how this journey started for me. It wasn't this pretty picture, but I set the intention from 30 to really just know that this season and decade of life was going to be life-changing. And that's exactly what it has been. And I look forward to what's to come. And in my 20s, again, spirituality was very much a part of my life, but it wasn't rooted. I take that back. It definitely was rooted. It was not being fertilized. It was not being cultivated. And that's the difference for me. That was the difference for me. That is the difference for me regarding my 20s and my 30s in spirituality. Another distinction between my 20s and my 30s was health. Just kind of piggybacking off, spirituality. It was that trickled into health. Like, I took my health very seriously towards the latter end of my 20s, which is crazy considering that I still ended up dealing with anxiety and depression, but that was more so of mental health. I was really more focused at that time on physical. And I'm so grateful for that journey, because health and wellness, mental, physical, all of it is so important. I wish I knew that sooner than later, but hey, we here. And I'm so happy to know what I know now. I never thought that I would be the fasting woman that I am now. I never thought that I'll be the woman that's exercising the way that she is now. I never thought that I would be this woman, y'all. But I spoke it. And I wanted it, I desired it, and I allowed it to come when it's time. And when it was time, I still don't want to exercise, but I still do it. And I still allow myself to go at my own pace. I don't, allow myself to rush the process, even being in my mid-30s now. Because, baby, if there's one thing I will suggest and tell y'all about them 20s, start giving it a little bit of something every day. If it's just 50 jumping jacks in the morning, if that's all you got, that's all you got. But start somewhere while your vitality is there even more, while, you ain't got to worry about them knees, and also just being able to look your best. And honestly, I feel like I look my best in my 30s as opposed to my 20s. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what nobody thinks. I know my skin glows more. I am just more, oh my gosh, I can't even name off how many things have just changed for the better. And I just want to let y'all know, if you are in your 20s, start somewhere. A little bit of something goes a long way. You continue to pour into yourself a little bit more every day, You are going to be unstoppable when you reach your 30s, baby. Trust me, trust and believe, because the foundation is already laid. It's, you know, a key indicator of just keeping yourself up and doing whatever it is that you can do regarding your body, your skin, your mental health, all of that in the realm of health and wellness. Give yourself grace along this journey, because I definitely have to do that at times. But also know, again, that a little bit goes a long way. And even if you are in your 30s right now, trust yourself to continue to move the needle forward as much as you need to every day. Your 40s will thank you for it. Your 40s will definitely thank you for it. My 40s are already thanking me for what I'm doing right now. Trust and believe it. So dating and relationships, y'all. Ooh, baby. Dating and relationships in my 20s were, whew, child.